Hello everyone, this is DJ Zelx, aka Digital Magic from Teen Lone Wolf, here with a bit of a different video. So, I know that I've been doing a lot of Immersive Railroading videos recently, and people have been commenting about the resource packs, or at least a couple of you have. So I decided to go ahead and kind of talk about them for a bit. So, today's episode is going to be my favorite pack that I prefer to use, and then as time goes on, I'm going to be going over the other resource packs, showing what they add, some of the stats of the locomotive, all that fun stuff. However, you probably just heard one of the pop valves go off, so I should probably go and check on that. So today's episode is the small gauge goodies pack made by, and I apologize if I get your name wrong, Rhea, R-H-E-A. It's the small gauge goodies pack, and it's one of the most unique packs as due to the fact that it is the only pack as of the moment that adds Minecraft gauge trains. Yes, this is Minecraft gauge. That's the block for you. So we have some Minecraft gauge stuff, and then we have a narrow gauge locomotive, and these two cars are courtesy of the W and RGW pack that I'll be showing off at a different point in time. So let me go ahead and just show off the first one. So this is, I'm gonna butcher this, so I apologize if this is a locomotive near you and this is the completely and totally wrong way you pronounce it. Rezikaza, I think is how you pronounce it. I'd like to apologize profusely. I don't pronounce other words that are in a different dialect easily, so I apologize. But this is the Rezika. So to really quickly show off some of the stats, it is this one right here. So it's got 13,301 kilograms, made by the Reseda Iron Works, 881 horsepower, traction 63. 611, and it's got a max speed of 45 kilometers per hour. And I don't know what that translates over into miles per hour without doing some quick math, but I got nothing. So let me go ahead and hop into this. So something that you'll notice with this pack is that Rhea does not like to go underboard when it comes to detail. She goes rather overboard to a degree, to the point that you can see, like, that's very clearly coal that we've got in both of the side tenders. There's the handbrake, which is a very British design. A lot of steam locomotives will have a handbrake like that, which you spin around. I bet you that's the drain cocks, reverser, regulator. Don't know what those two are, and I think that this is supposed to be a watch glass, but I'm not certain of that. And again, I think that those are similar to those over there. But you can very clearly tell that what these kind of what things are, and it's really impressive that Rey's got kind of so well done with that. You can even see the whistle lever, and it's just a standard whistle, so you can hear standard quilling, standard whistle, all that fun stuff. The base has 400 buckets, or 4 buckets worth, sorry, and 5 slots, I can totally count. 5 slots for the firebox. You'll notice that the numbers are going down slowly. That's mostly because I did some config changes around, so I wouldn't have to constantly keep refilling these suckers. So you can see, so this is supposed to be a Stephenson style valve gear, but you can see that it works really nicely, and this is just quick, small acceleration because I don't have a whole lot of track. One thing that you should know about this pack, though, is that they break very quickly, so you have to be kind of touchy with the brake valve, or that brake lever. So next thing is that we've got some cargo. Now we have the GV 5,700. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. I'm very sorry. It's, 7,001 kilograms. That one is very important, I assure you. It was made by the MAV's Northern Vehicle Repair Facility, which is actually where the steam locomotive behind this one is from. Also, it's actually a MAV. It's got 81 horsepower, quite a bit of traction. I think it's the most traction out of all of them, actually. Yeah, it's got the most traction out of it, which makes sense because this is supposed to be used to move trains around in real life, if I remember correctly. And then it's max speed, nice little thing. Reminds me of kind of a 40-tonner, actually. So this is kind of cool, though, is that not only do we have the side mirrors and a lovely detailing on the grill, but when you pop into this, it's an okay control panel, but the fact that Rhea added just a pickaxe, an iron pickaxe, just kind of sitting here, really kind of shows attention to detail, in my opinion, simply because of the fact that they probably would, if this was actively being used, I bet you that the driver would probably keep a pickaxe in here, in all honesty. So the next one is a ore cart. And you can see you've got some iron, some gold, some coal, all in just some gravel. That's kind of nicely detailed with how, I mean, yeah, it's kind of sharp, but it's, for the most part, nicely detailed on how bumpy it is. Next is a cargo-filled flatbed. Let me actually pop off of this. And something you'll notice is that all of these have these nice little steps on them, which I think is really really well done. You've got a bunch of cargo boxes, 2 pickaxes. One of them's open and there's just a pickaxe hanging out of it, which I think is really clever. And then for those of you that are transporting some stuff that you don't want out in the open, there's a tarp-covered version of this too, which I wouldn't recommend a huge amount just because it looks kind of funky. Ray is aware that it looks funky. I don't know if they're planning on trying to fix it, but if you really want to, you've got a tarp-covered option too. Let me just really quickly... There we go. Really quickly make it day, and toggle downfall. Oops. There we go. One downside. So, let's go ahead and take a quick lap around the track with this. And I'll just go kind of throw throttle, and you can kind of see that it accelerates pretty quickly. This is just a quick test track. For the most part, I would recommend, and I just realized I have a switch up here that I need to flip. I think I'd be ready for everything, but apparently not. So let me go ahead and grab this. Oops. There we go. Oops. Okay, there we go. So, this curve that we're coming up on is probably the tightest curve you want to really be using this with, or any of Rhea's with, which is I think it's a 25, is what I set it at. Either 25 or 15. And you can see it takes it, it just doesn't look very nice, honestly. It's okay. I mean, you get a lot of squeaking from it, and squealing, but for the most part, it's okay. And you can hear that's just a normal horn sound. Oof. Oh, I've got some workers now. Oh, nope, they've gone off. And this also holds 9 buckets worth of fuel, also as a side note. Now I'm going to just go full brake and you'll see what I mean. It just stops. Cam is working on a update to the code in regards to traction, but at the moment these things just dead stop. It's pretty impressive, actually. I don't know if it's a bug with how some of the code works or what have you, but so, and then last 2 things is the MAV 399. Let me grab that. That's the Resica. Here we go. MAV 399. It's from the Cross Locomotive Factory. It's got 10,301 kilograms, 741 horsepower, 54,716 newtons, placing it in the middle power-wise. Max speed of 26 kilometers per hour. I'm sorry about that. It's kind of a nice little locomotive. You can kind of tell that it's to some degree sharing some aspects of the Resica over there, especially when it comes to inside. Cab looks very kind of similar, with the exception of there's no reverser anymore, which I think is kind of funny. But you can also, what's neat about this one is that you can see the drain cocks. I don't think you can see that on the Resica. Let's just double check. Yeah, no, you can't see. Oh yeah, you can see the drain cocks in the Resica. Never mind, I lied. Now I know that from watching Rhea develop these, one of these two is supposed to actually have the Stephenson gear on the outside. Because the code doesn't support it yet, there's no Stephenson gear on the outside, but there will be at some point in time. Just don't know when. Couldn't tell you. Now this one, as you can see, only can hold 3 buckets, which is kind of a downfall on this one, and I'll show you the way that I personally work around it. But here it's got the normal whistle also. Go ahead and start moving it. So right behind me are the last car, which is a day trip car or an excursion car, as I call them. And they look really nice, I think. They're the one kind of issue with them is that they don't scale very well, in my opinion. But they look really nice, honestly. And it's kind of gives the Minecraft gauge another usage. And you can see that the wheels on that doesn't really like that tight of a turn. I just pointed at my monitor, expecting you guys to be able to see that. Wow, I'm such an idiot. But yeah, you can see that they look really nice. Some nice detail work on those benches. Some nice detail work on those benches. And it kind of gives the Minecraft gauge another usage. Not only can you do freight now, but you can also do passenger service, which is really kind of nice that you get that other option now. Let me kind of break over here. So yeah, that's really all the pack has to offer. From what I understand, that not all of these were necessarily made by Rhea. Rhea did a lot of the work, but I think Larky, did some of the work also. I'd have to go and check. If I'm correct about that, I'll post what specifically Larky built down in the description. But for the most part, they look really nice, honestly. It's one of my favorite packs just because it really gives usage to the Minecraft gauge, which none of the other locomotives look really good on, but these look fantastic on it. And something that's also kind of interesting to note is that if I pull out the Resica, if I pull that out and I put it down on the track, that actually also kind of fits too. I mean, the controls are a bit tinier, but I mean, realistically, that doesn't look all that bad scale-wise in comparison to some of the other ones. So, something to note. So the way that again, it kind of bugs me that the locomotives have such a small boiler in regards to water, and there's no like tenders added on. But the way that I deal with that is that let me put down this MAV. So the tender that I found works best with it, that actually Thomas, who created this specific mod pack, not the one that I'm about to show, that worked well, if I remember correctly, it was this one. Right? No. I'd have to go back onto the server to be 100% certain on which one I was using. Bowen. Certainly thought it was the B3C. No. Yeah, no, it's definitely the B3C. So this, on this scale, holds 18 buckets worth. So I hook this up, and I think that personally the two of them work well together. Obviously, it's completely and totally the wrong color, wrong coupling system, but I mean, it works, and it doesn't look too bad. The Resica, on the other hand, I've found works well with the Peppercorn Tender. So there's the Peppercorn Tender for on narrow gauge, but really, if you want to kind of see how well it works, you need to put it down onto the Minecraft gauge, and then put down the Resica again. You can see the size kind of fits well. I mean, they're both green. It's the wrong shade of green. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, the shade kind of works well together. So this is how I deal with it, and this has 11 buckets worth. Whereas this has, again, only 3 buckets when you put it down to the Minecraft gauge. So that's how I deal with that issue. But yeah, overall, the pack is kind of a one-of-a-kind, in my opinion, in the sense that it really gives usage to an entire gauge that under normal circumstances you wouldn't be able to use, just because everything's at a scale on it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you want to start getting into kind of the smaller stuff, and you really don't like having to build the big turns and you don't want to be super resource intensive, I would go with this pack, honestly. And again, the link's going to be down in the description if you want to go and check out this pack. It's just called Small Gauge Goodies. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I think I'm going to be doing the D and RGW pack next, which you can see I kind of hinted at with these two cars. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing next. So yeah. So anyways, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye.